Yo, what's up, boys and girls, and everybody else? It's your boy Shieldcoomer, and today we're gonna be covering a very cute little Algatar Academy 23 on a Tyrannical week. So this is one of I used to hate this dungeon. It slowly became one of my favorite dungeons. It's a dungeon that turns into a really fun one on Tyrannical weeks. I think fortified weeks in general are a little bit easier on this one, but I'm sure some people would disagree with this. There's definitely some rough packs for fortified weeks as well, but personally I find Vexamus and Cawth to be extremely unpleasant to deal with on Tyrannical weeks. I think we can put it that way, and as you will soon find out that also the tree boss, everybody just calls him Tree. His name is actually Overgrown Ancient, but everybody just calls him Tree. It's fine. It's like an ancient being that's like, you know, there probably since the beginning of the earth itself, and here we are calling him a tree. Yeah, also a difficult boss on Tyrannical, same as, you know, every boss becomes difficult on Tyrannical. That's kind of the fun of it, as Rogue gets hit by the thing. We'll go over how to deal with these things as a disc priest as we come to them, because a lot of people seem to be not valuing discs healing that highly, at least from what I'm observing, like in general, from general population. However, hopefully my disc homies know that you know, our spec actually is pretty good right now in M+, even though you won't have the easiest time getting invited and stuff, considering how popular at the moment Shadow Priest is. You know, it just seems unlikely for somebody to invite you over Resto Druid or Evoker. If I'm completely honest, it's not the most pleasant experience right now. However, you definitely can get some invites, and you can also make good use of them if you know what to do. We do bring some very unique abilities, such as Mass Dispel, PI, all these things. They make you very powerful, and we'll cover how to mitigate the damage that's happening in a way which I don't think a lot of other healers can, which allows your team to do certain things that you just normally wouldn't be able to do. So let's get into it. This boss really is quite simple. The main thing to watch out for is your tank getting clapped during the debuff. Empowered. And when they have poison stacks on top, it's a dangerous overlap. So I would suggest, obviously, since we don't have like deep poison, we cannot dispel poisons, unfortunately. That is reserved only for... Wait, actually I'm not sure who can at the moment, with all the talent changes and stuff. I know Druid can do it, I know Paladin can do it,
Abundance.
I know Evoker can do it with his 1 minute cooldown. Who else? Who else? Let me know in comments. I feel like I'm missing someone. I don't think Shamans can't, right? They do not have poison. They have magic and decurs, I think. Yeah, let's focus on what's happening. As you can see, big pains up there on the tank, very important. Keep shielding him. Keep using your, don't forget, like after you penance, you will have like a stronger shield. Make sure you consume it on the tank, as he is in most need of the healing at that moment. And then after this, watch out for the entire group, because they're all about to take damage. And then sometimes, you know, with this dot, obviously on high keys, this dot hurts a lot, as you can see everybody ticking down. And this week we have a lovely affix that every healer loves, called Grievous, which is absolute nightmare for disc in general, traditionally. However, with the Radiance buff, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. You know, it used to be. I remember in Shadowlands, I tried to play disc quite a few times, and every time on Grievous week, everybody would tell me, just go holy, bro, lol. And on start, I would not go holy, and I would just end up suffering and making my team suffer, because they would have to wait for me consistently, because I never get many mana. and it just used to be impossible Affix for this, but right now it's chill, pretty okay. You can manage. It's obviously annoying, and it will still cost you mana, but I feel like our healing, like our just pure healing, has been buffed in 10.5 because they saw that our numbers just simply do not add up, and I'm happy that happened because these changes I feel like were exactly what this spec needed to become enjoyable to play. That was perfect from Blizzard, which I feel like is a sentence that you don't hear very often, but it happened. There we go. Another pain sub there. I could have used Power Word Life there as well. I used it late and then I didn't get a 10-second CD. I'll forget about that ability. I tend to forget it because it kind of doesn't really suit our, I don't know, our toolkit in general. It's kind of like easy to forget that thing even exists, but for me at least. But you know, it's a strong, especially for tanks. It's huge. I sometimes intentionally let tanks drop low. Do not recommend doing that, by the way. But I will sometimes let them drop a little bit lower and then pump them up with a Power Word Life, and then I'll have like a low 10-second CD. It serves as a sort of like a pseudo cheat, that kind of thing, in a way, in a weird way. But sometimes what happens is they'll be dropping low and then they'll heal themselves, but like by the time you click it, and then you don't get that 10-second CD, and then the ability is not that great. So just, you know, keep in mind. And that's a classic, by the way. That's something to keep in mind with this mob. Whoa, 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 whoa. My sister is typing on the keyboard. What is this? What is this? No, I never said the F word. That couldn't be me. So yeah, that was frustrating. The worst part is I've died to this multiple times, because always after the tree, I drink and then I go. And every time, like, the timing adds up perfectly for this guy to be casting AoE, and you don't see the AoE as you're flying for some reason. I don't know, Blizzard, why, but would be nice if we could just fix that. Like, just give me the visual, lol. And basically that's what happens. Like, you just fly into the AoE. So I recommend watching his cast bar, and like, if he's casting, just don't get anywhere near him. You should approximately know where the line is, so you can just pay attention to it. This is a nasty mob, by the way. This mob, like, is a joke on lower keys, because you feel like he just doesn't do anything, right? But these tornadoes start to one-shot, and sometimes the swirly will spawn underneath you, but it will be invisible for like half a second, and then it's too late for somebody who is like immobile as Priest is. But yeah, anyway, you can basically DPS non-stop there. You can just stand out of the circle, provided you don't die, like me. Here, don't be afraid to use your things. I mean, unless it's fortified, tank shouldn't need too much help. We do not have a way to remove D-bleed, so watch out for bursting. This happened to be a bursting week, so it's actually like quite a big deal. Just mass dispel. I mean, that's kind of like the beauty of playing priest. You get to mass dispel stuff. I tend to like focus a little bit more on the eagle, because like I'm just assuming that the rest of the things will die to the AoE from the DPS and stuff. As you can see, like there I decided not to mass dispel, because I'm actually not sure if it was up, but even if it was up, my logic was like, I popped, you know, I had like a Shadow Fiend running and everything, so I was like, just gonna DPS. I know they're not gonna die to a few stacks, so it was fine to do, you know. It's just like my estimate of how much I can do through atonements. Obviously that will depend on like your gear and what CDs you have running and stuff. Like I still recommend mass dispelling. I guess I was just like a little bit, I wanted to optimize for speed, I suppose. I don't know. In high keys, I really tend to focus a lot more on DPSing, which seems counterintuitive to an extent, but like I feel like people underestimate the amount of like speed a team can gain by with like healers dealing damage sometimes. I think it's, I don't know, I've heard even some like really good players say like, you're a healer, you should just heal, lol. It's like I'm looking at my DPS, like the difference between me doing like 26 27k DPS and 23k is 4k damage per second. Multiply that by like what, 32 minutes of a dungeon. It adds up. It definitely can shave off some time. Now I'm not saying you should like let people die to deal damage. I mean, the biggest DPS increase you can ever have is keeping your DPS alive regardless, and should never sacrifice like even a single GCD if it puts like anyone's life at risk. But at the same time, you know, you should optimize for damage as well. It does become more and more important as you push higher. Anyway, main difficulty of this boss is actually, it's not even the orbs, it's not the screech, it's not the fire, it's not all these things. It's a tank debuff really hurts. And now if you could pay attention to just tank, that would be great. Unfortunately, this boss makes it so you can't. And what you need to do this entire boss fight is essentially rotate your CDs on the tank, and in between you rotate your defensives for the team as well. So as disc, we are actually perfectly equipped for a fight like this. And like Pain Sup will keep tank up for the most part. It won't keep him up, but it will like reduce the damage they take so much that they will be able to keep themselves up for the most part. And always on the third screech I like to do Rupture. And you might be thinking, why not on the fourth? Well, it's because I saved my power word barrier for the fourth. So I'll go on and I'll grab these two orbs here, and I see that Screech is in like 4-ish seconds, so I will be placing a barrier anytime now, so DPS can see, you know, and get into it. I popped Fade as well. Keep in mind, I am keeping my Desperate Prayer there, because I know that this is enough. Fade and barrier will both give me like a certain percentual reduction, which I know will keep me alive, at least on 23. Maybe higher, you need to press Prayer as well. Making sure everybody's topped up before that, and then we go into the burst phase. It might be wise to sometimes save like a PI or something for this section when he's, because when he is stunned from fire you deal bonus damage. That's kind of what the strategy revolves. It's like every time you start the phase he gets these new abilities. It's either these fires or the winds and tornadoes. And every time you initiate a phase, he will also get stunned. And I think we will see this, right? This is Tyrannical, so we will see the second stun as well, and you will see that he will be taking bonus damage. And here I notice I have the clear while having to do orbs. Thank you, team. But it's okay.
Empowered.
Notice how I'm avoiding using Pain Sup like willy-nilly on the tank. Like I don't just want to use it randomly. I want to find like a good moment to use it, and there I get locked out. That's a little bit suboptimal, I'm not gonna lie. That was a little bit of a misplay by me. And then we do the winds, and I see the Screech number 4 is approaching, so I'm hurrying up to do the stun, and very clutch there. Very clutch. Before the Screech, good timing. Actually, probably should have done it a little bit earlier, but honestly there was like, as a priest I'm very slow, and they just kind of like let me do it all by myself. I'm not really sure if that's okay or not. I'm actually curious, other healers, like especially ones that play in the team, if anybody is you know, playing in a team and watching this video, I'm actually curious, like, does your team like make you do this by yourself? Because as a healer I don't really like doing this. As a priest, as an evoker I don't mind, it's really easy. And these are two main healers I play at the moment, so I can't really tell you now. I'm assuming as a resto druid it's pretty chill. As always, those guys are really blessed with their movement, but I feel like as a priest it's kind of awkward. I don't know, it's too much running for my liking. But you know, like if it means like overall DPS increase for the group, like I'll do it, as long as, you know, nobody dies. If it means I'm doing it, then it's fine. But either way, like Cawth, this is like how we did Cawth. It's gotten pretty spicy towards the end. And Tank started last-ing me there, I think because he was down the stairs or something.
Gust.
I'm not really sure if it's my positioning or his positioning or a little bit of both,
Deafening
but
screech.
we managed to pull through. It was definitely spicy. And don't forget to keep tanks up after the after the boss fight. They will usually have this blade on them that tends to chunk them down and just keep them alive. Don't let them die. It's pretty annoying if they die, I would assume. Yeah, usually people nowadays skip this pack. It's this corrupted mana fiends, kind of annoying with the rain and shit.
Vicious ambush.
Okay, nice words.
Mystic blast.
Yeah, just playing this pack is easy. There's like one thing I would like to show you guys,
Arcane
but I don't
rain.
think we're really setting up to do it here. Maybe.
Vicious
Maybe
ambush.
I am. I think I'm too late. Yeah, I'm too late. Don't jump to me.
Rift
But yeah,
Breath.
basically, so what you can do with these little like worms, the big one, the what is it
Mystic
called?
blast.
Arcane Ravager. Okay, watch.
Arcane rain.
So
Vicious
they will
ambush.
select the furthest away person, and
Rift Breath.
once they select you, if you line of sight them, which you can do like I just did it, there's a few other ways you can do it, but that's like I think the most common one. Usually tanks know to position there.
Rift Breath.
What happens is he just cancels his jump because he cannot find his target, and you basically put him in this loop if you do this properly, where he will just breathe.
Vicious
He's
ambush.
like arcane frontal breath,
Rift breath.
and she just keeps rift breathing because like he doesn't, you know, he can't do his other ability. It's pretty cool. Like I recommend doing this. You don't lose much as a healer doing this, and it makes things easier for your group. I failed there. I've only done it once successfully, so it wasn't the greatest like display, and it matters less on Tyrannical weeks. It's more relevant on Fortified, but
Mystic
either way it's
blast.
a DPS gain because mostly
Arcane rain.
mostly it's about
voice.
maximizing damage and preventing like potential, you know, there are certain affixes that can make that guy like pretty scary. For example, imagine on like a
Mystic
bolstering
blast.
week he gets giga big and he just one-shots someone, so to prevent
Arcane
that like
rain.
RNG from happening and stuff like that, you can just sort of LS it and keep it safe and basically make that mob non-existent. As that was like a beautifully timed master spell. Wow, who is this guy? Wow, I don't know why my druid is trying to jump off, but okay. Yeah, anyway, here like another big pool, and again he's not really positioning mobs for me
Vicious
like in a
ambush.
perfect position for me to do this, and I'm too
Rift
late
breath.
again, and then we get this. It's a little bit about the tank as well. You have to kind of like communicate, and ideally your tank knows about this, and then he positions
Vicious
them in a way
ambush.
where this is like pretty easy for you to do,
Rift
like
breath.
now. Yeah, that was pretty chill. Even a DPS could do it from here. I think they could like even keep DPSing and stuff. So yeah, it's just about like a little optimization that
Vicious
kind of like
ambush.
makes one of these mobs do almost nothing, and
Rift breath.
I find it pretty cool and pretty helpful. Some people don't like it. Like I've seen people complain about it. Like the annoying part is if you fail, the mob jumps far away, and then it just sucks, and
Rift
that's
breath.
a little bit annoying. But overall, as you can see, it's not a problem. However you decide. Like as long as nobody dies to it and stuff, it's
Vicious
not a big deal.
ambush.
But I do think that like doing it properly, and I peeked a little bit too early. I thought he's gonna drop the charge, and I peeked a little bit too early. That's why he jumped. Anyway, preparation slowly for Vexamus. So very important is, in my opinion at least, to
Monotonous lecture.
I tend to not use barrier here anymore, and I also avoid using pain sub if possible. Of
Arcane
course, on
rain.
fortified weeks,
Arcane
you might
rain.
have to use this. I think on
Monotonous lecture.
Tyrannical, these packs are not dangerous enough to warrant the usage of any of these big
Monotonous
abilities.
lecture.
5,
And the reason I don't
4.
like to use them is because I want to save them for the boss, obviously, since it is Tyrannical week. I also tend to not use PI. If we're doing 3 pulls, I will use PI on first, because you should have it back by the time for the boss. But if you're doing like a double into a single pack, you don't really have the time to use PI. So, you know, just make a judgment call for yourself. It will also depend on your key level, on your damage and stuff. You just have to kind of know these things. After you play a dungeon a couple of times, you'll know. Obviously, this is one more time advantage. You know why pre-made groups are so good, because you get the good estimates of like how much damage everybody does, and when they're popping CDs and stuff, and as you can communicate all these things, it means a lot, you know, because like the difference between pack exploding and difference between pack living is usually like 1 DPS using CDs or not and stuff like that. And it really comes down to like communication and these things, and in PoGs you just will rarely have proper communication. I think like high, because I'm a pugger, right? I play exclusively PoGs. I do not have a team. I never had a team. I might have one someday, you know. If you want to team up, hit me up on get my mail. You can like contact me on Trio or somewhere, but for now I'm enjoying pugging. I'm completely okay with it.
Mystic Blast. Mana Void.
It's sometimes annoying, but I think like I don't think I can commit, you know. At least I haven't found people I could like commit to, you know, in a sense where
Mystic Blast.
I feel comfortable saying yes, I will be available at this time, because usually I do keys whenever I have free time. I really like doing keys, so I do it as like a pleasure, you know, and sometimes I just don't feel like it, and then I don't do it. I had like weeks where I slacked really hard, and if I didn't, like I'd probably be like further up the ladder and stuff, but it is what it is, you know. As I said, it is at the end of the day a hobby for me, something like I enjoy doing, and I do it for that reason. And here was very scary, by the way, because I had no mana. I don't know if you saw, but I asked Drew to innervate and stuff, but it was kind of sketch. And here I had to drink, so I just let them know I'm drinking. They needed to drink as well for the affix. And he drops a feast here and stuff, and yeah, basically what decides this key is, which is also why, by the way, I prefer going Vexamus first on Tyrannical. I don't know why we did this route, but it kind of worked out. Vexamus is by far the Cawth and Vexamus are both, no, how do you call this? Crawth? The bird. The bird. Bird and Vexamus are hardest bosses on Tyrannical. It's really hard, guys. This mana bomb is insanely difficult to heal, and there's also one more factor to consider here is, okay, so when this boss, basically when he gets 100 energy, he will do his, what do you call it, arcane expulsion or whatever. Is that the thing he does?
Arcane expulsion.
Is that the explosion called? I don't know. That's the frontal. What's the explosion called?
Arcane Fissure.
Guess we're about to see. Yeah, Fissure. Yes. Arcane Fissure. Okay. Now, the best way to wipe on this boss is to just play like a bot and not think about energy at all. And what will happen then is, I think on the third time he gets full energy, you will have an overlap with the bombs, and you will die. So that's the best way to wipe. Now let's talk about how not to wipe. What people do is, there's even a weak aura for this. A couple of people have made some weak auras and stuff for this scenario in particular.
Arcane Fissure.
I'm not really sure what it's called. You guys can search it up yourself, because I really don't know. Like, I haven't looked it up myself. I just kind of like look at things and make decisions as things happen, but weak auras are always great and always helpful. I don't know why I'm not dispelling tank here. That's actually annoying me now looking back at this. I guess I'm just too busy like keeping everybody up. It is hard, by the way, guys. It's really hard. Like, there I lived because I popped Fade, otherwise I was dead. It's very important you top up everybody as mana bombs are about to explode. And as you can see here now, energy 98, 100, so he's doing Fissure. So what people do is, to prevent that overlap from happening, is you will let one orb get in the boss, which will offset his energy just enough for that overlap not to happen. And you know, you just have to know when to do this, and I think usually it's between after the second explosion where people do it. I think, but don't quote me on this. Don't quote me on this. Like, double check this information, test it out yourself. I'm just telling you what I think could happen. Maybe if somebody in comments know, you know, feel free to educate me and you know, hopefully people watching this video. But yeah, as you can see, with Master Spell there, and we have like another Fissure into bombs, which is always rough, you know, because you gotta top everybody up now, and Grievous makes this very difficult. So I throw double Radiance there to top everybody up. That's important, you know, because normally I would just do one Radiance, and then I would say, well, everybody has a Torment, so I'll just damage now. But because I need to top them up quickly, I throw 2 Radiances just to make sure everybody's healthy and living and stuff. And things are looking a little bit sketchy right now. You know, you might be thinking like 6 minutes. 6 minutes, how are they gonna time this? Luckily, these packs upstairs die quite easily. And I'm typing this to the boys. There I thought about grabbing like real quick haste, but I changed my mind. Like because I'm running versatility on this like the buff. I'm talking about a 5% buff, right? Usually you want haste, but I pick versatility because Cawth and Vexamus can both one-shot you if you don't have high versa. And I already have like pretty high avoidance and leech, so what matters to me the most is I don't get one shot as a priest, because then I can keep myself up after that, and I can keep others up as well. So as long as I don't get one shot, we're fine. And luckily, since we cleared the bridge already, that's why we might seem a little bit behind on the, you know, on the time and stuff, but it's kind of like you know, clean this up. Pretty chill pack, if I dare say so myself. So to these guys, and these guys should give us 4.5, including the the boss, right?
Astral
I mean boss doesn't get percentage, but
Astral Whirlwind
needs to be completed for obviously needs to be completed for the dungeon. Yeah, thanks thanks for that info, Captain Obvious. But basically,
Astral
yeah,
Whirlwind,
just Echo of Deragosa is a pretty simple boss, but you do need to be focused. This boss can get out of hand on Tyrannical. You might run out of space if the pools are not positioned properly. So once again, the way this boss works is, I keep explaining this every time I upload this key.
Astral Whirlwind.
A lot of people seem to not understand though. It's
Astral
like
Whirlwind.
His abilities give you a stack of overwhelming power, which gives you 5% DPS.
Power Vacuum.
So ideally you want this on you early on. However, problem on Tyrannical is
Overwhelming Power.
When you get to 3 stacks,
Astral
you
Whirlwind.
drop, instead
Astral
of getting
Breath.
15% DPS increase, you lose your buff and you drop a pool, which will irradiate pulsating bombs that are flying in all directions. And these pools, you just saw Warlock make
Power
one
Vacuum.
now. These pools are what you want to take to the edge. So if you don't have 2 stacks, do not run. Stay in the melee. DPS. I've seen way too many times melees are running out and they don't have stacks. And they're just losing damage. You do not leave a pool unless you're already on 2 stacks. So only once you get the 3rd stack, instead of getting the 3rd stack, you will be dropping the pool. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, I've tried to fix this. My UI doesn't track how many buffs people have. I'm just trying to memorize and stuff, and there I thought that the Rogue doesn't have 3, and that's on me. That's completely on me. That's my bad. Might be. Not good. You need to track things. I can't. I added the buff ID personally, and I tried to manually adjust it, and automatically Grid doesn't detect it. So I don't know, man. Grid, I love this add-on, but sometimes it's annoying, I swear to God. I love the amount of customizations you can do with Grid and how much you can change things. However, at times Grid can be a little bit weird. I don't know, man. Any Grid 2 users in chat, this add-on is both the best and the worst at the same time
Astral
somehow.
breath.
Sometimes I wish I could just click, you know, on voodoo or whatever else people use and just like automatically have everything set up like these. These add-ons seem way more intuitive to me, like they're much easier to set up.
Power
But
vacuum.
I like the customizations that are possible with grids, so I keep using it, and it's also like a little bit of a habit at this point. But yeah, here I'm just trying to play greedy for DPS, you know, like at this point DPS is so important
Astral
that
breath.
you as a healer have to contribute, and I'm not really
Arcane
doing
Ridge.
that great. I'm only doing 21k, which on a single target is decent enough, but you know, ideally I'd like more. And see there, Rogue ran out even though he isn't leaving a pool there, so that's just a misplay. Like, you have no reason to run out. You're just losing DPS. It happens, as you can see. It's definitely a thing. And there I didn't actually know Warlock had 3, so
Astral
again
breath.
that's on me not tracking the debuff because I don't know how to set it up. For some reason it refuses to track it, and there that was actually just a visual mistake on my part. I remember this stat actually. I just did not see the orbs running towards me, not gonna lie. I think it's because my weak auras are positioned, so it came from behind and it flew like underneath my weak auras or something. So pretty dumb that to have, but you know, it happens. What can you do? Luckily, I don't think it will end up costing us the key, although it did make things a little bit tighter. Because not only do you lose damage, but you also lose like
Overwhelming power.
time, right, for dying. So it's not ideal.
Power vacuum.
Anyhow, overall, guys, I think this key was pretty solid, pretty smooth. Like 3 deaths overall. Like, it doesn't get much cleaner than that. It's
3.
and here I was like fully focused on dealing damage. Oh dude, if Rogue died, we actually don't time this. That's crazy. I didn't even notice that. Ooh, that was almost a missed time in the last second. That would have been a disaster. But yeah, basically this is the key that pushed me above 3k, so I was pretty happy with that. My seasonal goal was getting 3k on disc, and I achieved it. I'll keep pushing, of course, and I'll keep making these videos for you guys, but I might like make an alt, something that's, you know, popular at the moment, like Evoker or Druid or something. I mean, I already have Evoker. I'll be uploading some keys and stuff, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching. You know, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, please. I always love, you know, people asking questions or telling me how bad I am and how much they're better. Appreciate that, guys. You know, stick around if you enjoy the content, and hope to see you on the next video. Much love, guys. Bye bye. See ya.